Good evening, Masters. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to our CCC book club. So as of now, we are discussing The Third Eye by Lobsang Rampa. So far we have seen what Lobsang Rampa, like from the age of 4 years, what has he done and how was his schooling and what was his physical activities. Now we are at a stage where Lobsang Rampa is now around 6 years, where he's going before his 7th birthday. They're going to the astrologers who are supposed to predict his future. That's a big thing. That's a big ceremony for them. So that is the thing which is happening as of now. So we have seen what are the things which is happening at the house and how his mother has taken responsibilities of this cooking. And now let's see. Let me just share. So on this ceremony, so now they have started the journey. So that like before taking this ritual, so his mother, Lobsang Rampa mother, wanted him to go to a cathedral. That's a religious community, like you can say as a temple, church, or mosque, whatever you say. So now they have gone to this cathedral, and from there, so let's see what we have gone inside the cathedral, how it is. We have just we just had a broad view about how it is inside this cathedral. So let us see how further about this cathedral from in this session. Okay, let me just share my screen. So we have stopped yesterday at here, so stating that inside the cathedral, the pilgrims who were there, they were doing circles by chanting this mantra, Om Mani Padmeham. So there we have stopped yesterday in our class yesterday. So further, let's go through this, what will happen further, okay? Heavy wooden beams, black with age. Before that, Masters, can you see my screen? Please give me a thumbs up or
yes,
something.
madam.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Riddhi. Thank you, Mukund. Huge wooden beams, black with age, supported the roof, and the heavy odor of constantly burning incense drifted around like light summer clouds at the crest of a mountain. So they said, I mean, this is happening at the cathedral, right? So they're saying like this is how, I mean, because of this incense stick, so the smoke which is coming out, it is forming like a cloud at the top of a mountain. Okay. Around the walls were golden statues of the deities of our faith, stout metal screens, with a coarse mesh so as not to obstruct the view, protected the statues from those whose cupidity overcame their reverence. Means it's a reverence means like with respect, deep respect. In sometimes what happens with more deep respect, we feel like we need to touch the statues. So to stop from that, there was a kind of mesh kind of thing before the deities. Most of the more familiar statues were partly buried by the precious stones and gems which had been heaped around them by the prayers who had sought favors. So all this, I mean, the familiar statues means those deities were fully with stones and gems, precious stones were heaped on them because if they want something like if for favors, they would say like, okay, we will offer you this, so that please make sure that this works for me. So those kind of favors. Okay. Candlesticks of solid gold held candles which burned continually and whose light had not been extinguished during the past 1300 years. So there were those candles were being burned continuously for past 1300 years. So from dark recesses, means from the dark depths came the sounds of bells, gongs, and the lowing bray of the conches. So these are all the musical instruments. They're able to hear these sounds. We made our circuit as tradition demanded. So we also do these circles inside a temple, isn't it? We go around the temple. So those are the circuit he's stating here. Our devotions completed, we went on to the flat roof. So they finished their prayers, so they went to a flat roof. Only the favored few could visit here. Father, as one of the custodians, always came. So not everyone can go to this flat roof on the cathedral or near this cathedral place. So only few few can visit that particular place. We'll see. Our form of governments, yes, plural, may be of interest. So he's telling that governments, normally we say as government, but he's telling it's a governments. So let's see, he'll state the reason why he's saying that. At the head of the state and church, the final court of appeal, there was Dalai Lama. Anyone in the court could petition him. So he's telling like the head was Dalai Lama. So anyone in the court could petition him, means like they could apply for the request. If the petition or request was fair, or if an injustice had been done, the Dalai Lama saw that the request was granted or the injustice rectified. I think you all understood this. So if a petition is, if a request is made in front of Dalai Lama, he would see, okay, if it is fair, then he would grant it, so that if there is any injustice which is happening, so it will be rectified, means corrected. It is not unreasonable to say that everyone in the country, probably without exception, either loved or revered him. So they used to love Dalai Lama. He was an autocrat, means we already discussed about an autocrat. So it's like who normally goes upon his wish instead of considering other people's wishes. He used power and domination, but never did he use these for his own gain, only for the good of the country. So he was powerful and it dominated as well. He has this kind of domination, but he never used for his own purpose. He used only for the gain of the country. He knew of the coming communist invasion. So we said like earlier that there was an attack in the Tibet. So that is a communist invasion he's talking here. Even though it lay many years ahead, and temporary eclipse of freedom, that was why a very small number of us was specially trained so that the arts of the priest should not be forgotten. So he's telling like Dalai Lama could suspect what is going to happen in the future. He could predict what is going to happen. That's the reason he's telling like only few of us got trained, especially as a priest, so that our art is not forgotten. After the Dalai Lama, there were two councils. That is why I wrote governments. The first was the Ecclesiastical Council. Ecclesiastical means it's a religious or a spiritual council. The 4 members of it were monks of Lama statues. There were 4 members, and they are the monks of Lama. Lama series is it's a kind of spiritual community as well. They were responsible under the inmost one for all the affairs of Lama series and nunneries. So these people are responsible for the activities which took place in these places, lamaseries and nunneries. All ecclesiastical matters came before them. So anything which is related to that, they would look after it. Next comes the Council of Ministers. So it's all about, now he's telling about his government, how it is. So we know Lobsang Rampa would jump from one point to other point. Then again, he will come back to his original point. Yes, so now he's on the top of on the flat roof or near the cathedral. And now he's telling about, he started with the conversation that this place is not everyone can view. And then he started about the government. So this is why we're discussing about how the government is there in Tibet 100 years back. This is what it was. So there were two governments. There were two councils. That is why he said like he wrote as governments. So the first was Ecclesiastical Council. Then came the Council of Ministers came next. This council had 4 members, 3 lay and 1 cleric. They dealt with the affairs of the country as a whole and were responsible for integrating the church and state. So these people are responsible for integrating, means combining the church and the state matters, anything related to activities about church and state. If they want to go take something, some project or something in terms of good for the country, then these people would look into it. 2 officials who may be termed prime ministers, for that is what they were, acted as liaison officers between the 2 councils. There were 2 prime ministers, 2 officials named as prime ministers, and put their views before Dalai Lama. So they were responsible if they want something to be approved from the Dalai Lama. So they were the people who would go and speak to Dalai Lama. They were of considerable importance during the rare meetings of the National Assembly. This was a body of some 50 men representing all the most important families and lamaseries in Lhasa. So and this group is about 50 men. So it's all about politics, master. So it's like, it's just listen to it. You may not need to understand how it was completely, but just have an idea that they have this kind of governments. They have this prime minister who if they want to speak to Dalai Lama about the political things, so the prime ministers would go and meet to them. So it's just overview is enough. No need to have this detailed thing. I'll just go through so that you'll have a rough idea. In connection with this, many Western people have the strange notion that the inmost one was cowardly in running away. I think I missed here one line. They met only during the gravest emergencies, such as in 1904, when the Dalai Lama went to Mongolia when the British invaded Lhasa. We initially also we came to know that Dalai Lama, during the attack, Dalai Lama went to Mongolia, and he also went again after China. Well, during the Chinese attack, he went to India, right? That is what they are saying, like, listen, what is the reason why Dalai Lama is moving? In connection with this, many Western people have strange notion that the inmost one was cowardly in running away. Notion means it's like they had a strange idea or a concept that Dalai Lama, who is the head, he is only running away. He is very coward. That is what the Western people means. The Western people, British people, they would have thought, or they were thinking. He did not run away. Lobsang Rampa is stating, he did not run away. Dalai Lama did not run away. Why? Let's see what his perspective is. Wars on Tibet may be likened to a game of chess. Now think the wars on Tibet, like this war is similar to a game of chess, comparing the war of Tibet with a game of chess. If the king is taken, the game is won. We knew that in chess, if the king is defeated, then that's it. If he's surrounded by all the different the opponent king or queen or anyone, so then that's it. If he can't move anything, then if he's captured, then we will win the game. That is how the same concept is applied here in this Tibetan war. The Dalai Lama was our king. Without him, there would be nothing to fight for. So he had to go to safety in order to keep the country together. Okay, did you understand the concept now behind it? Why Dalai Lama is flying from during the attacks? So that they want their king to be secure. Those who accuse him of cowardice in any form simply do not know what they were talking about. They're telling like, people can blabber anything, but it does not make sense. They would have not known anything about us. That's what the Lobsang Rampa is stating. The National Assembly could be increased to nearly 400 members when all the leaders from the provinces came in. There are five provinces. The capital, as Lhasa was often called, was in the province of Lobsang. Shigatse is in the same district. Now they are talking about the provinces. Like you can call it as like states. Yeah. Gatuk is Western Tibet. Chang is Northern Tibet. While Kham and Losok are the Eastern and Southern provinces respectively. This is about, there are 5 provinces he's stating. With the passage of the years, the Dalai Lama increased his power and did more and more without assistance from the councils or assembly, and never was the country better governed. So he's telling like after years and years, Dalai Lama could rule without having any assistance, much assistance, but he ruled it very, in a well better manner. Then now again he's coming back. The view from the temple roof was superb. So we started a conversation on the roof, right? On the flat roof of the cathedral. So again, this governmenting, everything is finished now. So he has talked about how the government was in the Tibet and what are the provinces. There are 5 provinces in the Tibet. And now he's back again to the temple roof. Okay, the view from the temple roof was superb. So now let's see, he would explain what is the view he's looking at. To the east stretched the plain of Lhasa, green and lush, dotted with trees. He's telling like it's full, to the east part, it's full of trees. Water sparkled through the trees, means like water flashed through the trees. The rivers of Lhasa tinkling along to join Tsangpo 40 miles away. So it's like the rivers are splashing and they're going and joining the Tsangpo. It's another kind of river 40 miles away. Now to the east, he explained, to the north and south rose the great mountain ranges enclosing our valley and making us seem secluded, means isolated from the rest of the world. So to the north and south, there came the mountain ranges. So including our valley, making us, so they are there to the north. Okay. Lamaseries abounded on the lower levels. So Lamaseries, where were they were located at the lower levels. Higher, the small heritages perched precariously on precipitous slopes. Means like on those slopes were very steep and it is very dangerous, it seems. So on the higher, it's on the higher steep slopes. So there were a small kind of huts, hermitages, means like for the monks to stay in and to do the religious practices. Those were called hermitages. So they were there. Westwards, so we touched about east, north and south, now west. Westwards loomed the twin mountains of the Potala and Chakpuri. The latter was known as the Temple of Medicine. So there was this Temple of Medicine, it seems. Let's see what it is later. Okay. Between these mountains, the western gate glinted in the cold morning light. this gate was flashing with this in the cold morning light, in the sunlight. Okay, the sky was a deep purple, emphasized by the pure white of the snow on the distant mountain ranges. So he's telling the sky was very deep purple color because of this pure white snow. Light, light, wispy clouds drifted high overhead. He's telling like these light, delicate clouds were moving high over our head. Much nearer in the city itself, we look down on the council hall, nestling against the northern wall of the cathedral. Saul is looking, and he's looking from the top roof. The treasure was quite near, and surrounding it all were the stalls of the traders and the market in which one could buy almost anything. So he's telling about the stalls and which are there. Close by, slightly to the east, a nunnery jostled the precincts of the disposers of the dead. So earlier, there were disposers of the dead, means who would take care of those people who die. So there were this place, and it was replaced by a nunnery, means where nuns will live. In the cathedral grounds, there was the never ceasing babble of visitors to this. Now he's telling like about the cathedral grounds, about this church, temple, or whatever the religious place. There was a never ceasing babble. Babble means it's like chattering, anything, we just talk like that. Ceasing babble of the visitors to this, one of the most sacred places of Buddhism. So Buddhism was the main thing in Tibet. The chatter of pilgrims who had traveled far and who now brought gifts in the hope of obtaining a holy blessing. Some there were who brought animals saved from the butchers and purchased with scarce money. So they're saying few of them have brought these animals who have saved from butchers, from killing them from. Okay, so there is much virtue in saving life of animal and of man, and much credit would accrue. Means they're selling like if we save a life of an animal, so it would give us more credit, so that it would be a bless for them. As we stood gazing at the old but ever new scenes, we heard the rise and fall of monks' voices in psalmody. So here when they were when they were gazing at the old, means like when they are looking, staring the old people who were coming there, they were rising and fall of monks' voices, means in psalmody, means it's like worshipping God, like in kind of songs kind of thing. They would we would say like bhajans, isn't it? Like the songs, the kirtans, those kind of things. The deep bass of older men and high treble of acolytes. It's like they were singing in high pitch volume about these songs. They came the rumble and boom of the drums and the golden voices of the trumpets. So now they are hearing these sounds from drums and trumpets, skirlings and muffled throbs. So they were also hearing some kind of unclear sounds of beats and a sensation as of being caught up in a hypnotic net of emotions. So they were all in kind of it's a very good state. Yeah, so they're listening with the trumpets sounds. If you all see, like we visualize, like it would be so good. Monks bustled around dealing with their various affairs. So the monks were there they were rushing from here and there to do this various activities. So now my Lobsang is explaining how these monks' robes will be. Okay, some with robes, means they would wear some kind of attire dress, where how our priests they would also wear some kind of dresses, isn't it? It's different from what we wear as a normal person. This is how the monks' dresses were there in Tibet 100 years back. Some with yellow robes and some in purple. So there were two colors, robes, purple and yellow. The more numerous were in russet red. There were also many people in red color, russet red color. These were the ordinary monks. So based upon the robes, they would decide like how their noble rank it is, and the monks. Those of much gold were from Potala, as were those in cherry vestments. So the people with gold were from Potala, from their place. That is their dress. Acolytes in white. One second, masters. Acolytes in white and police monks in dark maroon bustled about. So it's telling that all other disciples were in white color and the police monks are in dark maroon color. All or nearly all had one thing in common. No matter how new their robes, they almost all had patches, which were replicas of the patches on Buddha's robes. Everyone has few kind of stitches, patches, as it was on Buddha, when Buddha was there, how he used to wear. One second, masters, my screen is getting. Give me a minute.
Hello, madam. Are you there?
Yeah, give me a minute. One second. One second. I had some kind of network issue. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Sorry for the discontinuity. Okay, we were there here. Foreigners who have been Tibetan monks have seen pictures of them, sometimes remark on the patched appearances. People would be saying some kind of comments. That's what he's saying, because of the patches means like they would have that kind of stitches on their robes. The patches then are part of the dress. The monks of the 1200-year-old Messer Lamassari do it properly and have their patches of a lighter shade. So there is some color differentiation so that they can see these patches on their robes. Monks wear the red robes of the order. So monks used to wear the red color dress based upon their noble rank. There are many shades of red caused by the manner in which the woolen cloth is dyed. So there are many different colors. Maroon to red, maroon to brick red. It is still red. So there are different, little slight variation in the color, but there are different colors in the red, it seems. Certain official monks employed solely at the Potala wear gold sleeveless jackets over their red robes. I think it's self-explanatory. Gold is a sacred color in Tibet. Gold is untarnishable and so always pure. So it's like gold, it can't decolor. So that's the reason. And it also is very pure. That's why they used to consider it gold as a sacred color. And it is official color of the Dalai Lama. Some monks or high lamas in personal attendance on the Dalai Lama are permitted to wear gold robes over their ordinary ones. So few of them used to wear gold robes. What high lamas means like their noble rank is high. So as we looked over the roof of the Jokang, we could see many such gold jacketed figures and rarely one of the peak officials. So this is how he is telling about from the roof. He is seeing all these things, the scenery, and now about the monks' robes colors. Now we'll see. We looked up now they are looking up at the prayer flags Fluttering means it's like waving. And at the brilliant domes of the cathedral. Domes means at the top of the church, like there'll be circle kind of thing, isn't it? That is what he's referring. So on the top, there will be flags, pair of flags. The sky looked beautiful, purple with little flecks of wispy clouds. So it is very, the sky is beautiful with this delicate cloud with beautiful colors, as if an artist had lightly flickered the canvas of heaven with a white loaded brush, as if it's like just like a heaven. He's just comparing, as someone has pulled this canvas of heaven, means a picture of heaven, like that it is looking. That's what he's saying. Mother broke the spell. Well, we are wasting time. That's what he heard. I shudder to think what the servants are doing. We must hurry. So his mother, this is what till now, yes, he's standing on the flat roof and he is looking from there from towards the downstairs, and he was down because it's at high altitude. So then he was explaining about all the nature, about the cathedral church. And now his mom has come and is telling, you're wasting time, what are you doing? So off on our patient ponies. So our ponies were so patiently waiting. So now we are again mounting on, we are going on our ponies, clattering along the link or load, each step bringing me nearer to what I termed the ordeal, but which mother regarded as her big day. So it's like ordeal means it's like a very unpleasant experience, he could say. But for him, it's like he's feeling like an unpleasant thing because he's very tensed. What they're going to predict about his future. But his mother is thinking, she's thinking it's a very big day. Back at home, mother had a final check of all that had been done, and then we had a meal to fortify us for the events to come. So he's going back to the home and he's telling, like, at home mother had checked everything. So before we go out to any trips or something, we make sure that like our house is, we double check everything, right? That's how his mom has also done the final check. And they also had a good meal. We all knew that at times such as these, the guests would be well filled and well satisfied, but the poor host would be empty. And that's true, because sometimes what happens if there is some kind of party or some kind of function at our home, normally our guests will be well fed, and the people who are hosting it, they will not eat until all the function is finished, right? That's how he's stating. There would be no time for us to eat later. With much clattering of instruments, means with the much sounds of instruments, the Bonk musicians arrived and were shown into the gardens. Now, he's telling like, so now they are at the home. So their mom has done the final check. Here it means like they have come back to this home, and they are now waiting. The monks have come with these instruments. They were laden with trumpets, clarions, gongs, and drums. So it's like they're selling like they are heavily loaded. These musicians were heavily loaded with these different kind of instruments, and their cymbals were hung around their necks. Cymbals means kind of bells. They were also around their necks. Into the garden, they went with much chatter and called for beer to get them into the right mood for good playing. Okay, so for the next half hour, there were horrible honks and strident bleats from the trumpets as the monks prepared their instruments. So we all knew in Tibet, if something has to be done, like monks would pray for them so that it starts. So then now they are praying for this. They're preparing this, like they're doing this instrument for preparing their instruments. Okay, so now they are all back at the home. So here, back at home means like they have come back to the home from the cathedral, because the function is going to happen at their home. Okay. Uproar broke out in the courtyard as the first of the guests were sighted. So suddenly everyone started, okay, oh, the first guests are coming. riding in an armed cavalcade of men with fluttering pennants. It means they're riding on the horse. The people riding on the horse with a fluttering pennants made with an flags which was waving in the air because of the air. The flags was waving. The entrance gates were flung open. So the gates were opened very instantly, and two columns of our servants lined each side to give welcome to the arrivals. Okay, so there were servants on both the sides, so that they can welcome the guests. The steward, we spoke earlier also, who is the steward? Steward is the person who would take care about the house. If there is a big house, so we need someone to take care of it, right? So this person will be employed for it, who to take care of the home. So the steward was on hand with his two assistants who carried an assortment of the silk scarves which are used in Tibet as a form of salutation. So it is now they're coming, now he's telling about how they would respect the guests. So if someone arrived at their gate, so they will have servants on opposite side of the gates, and his steward would be there. So scarves, let's see what is this scarves like. As we use some kind of garland or something, so they are using as scarves. There are 8 qualities of scarves. So scarves means kind of cloth which you wear around the neck, that is a scarf. Okay, there are 8 qualities of scarves, and the correct one must be presented or offense may be impaired. So he's telling, like, you have to be very careful with the scarves. There are different qualities. There are 8 qualities in them. The Dalai Lama gives and receives only the first grade because he is the king, so he would receive the first grade. We call these scarves kata. And the method of presentation is this. He's telling this is, so the scarves are called as kata in Tibet. And how do they do this presentation for the guests from the host? Let's see how is it done. The donor means the person who's giving. The donor, if of equal rank, stands well back with the arms fully extended. So he will say, like, the donor, suppose who is giving the scarf, he will say he will stand with his arms fully extended. The recipients also stands well back with arms extended. He would also start with having this arms extended. The recipient also stands well back with arms extended. The donor makes a short bow and places the scarf across the wrist of the recipient. So across the wrist, the donor will place it. Who bows and takes the scarf from the wrist, turns it over in approval and hands it to a servant. So he would take the wrist, he would take the scarf from the wrist and turns it over as it is. That means like he's accepting it. That is the process. That is there. That is the way it is to be done if they like it. Okay. So, and then he would hand it over the scarf to a servant. In the case of a donor, and this part is like when two people are of same equal rank, means same kind of, they're having the same kind of noble status, then they would do this. If the case of a donor giving a scarf to a person of much higher rank, so if he is giving to a much higher rank person, he or she kneels with the tongue extended, and it's a tongue extended means like it's a greeting, it seems, a Tibetan greeting, similar to lifting the hat. So in countries, in Western countries, they would lift up their hat to show the respect. That is how here in Tibet, they used to extend their tongue and kneel and then hand over the scarf as a respect, and places the kata at the feet of the recipient. So they're not putting on the wrist. Now they're placing on the feet. The recipient in such cases places his scarf across the neck of the donor. So he will place the recipient, means with the person who is at the higher end who will receive, he will take that and he will put on the donor, on the donor, it seems, at the neck of the donor. In Tibet, gifts must always be accompanied by the appropriate kata, as must letters of congratulations. So based upon the scarves, the color of the category of the scarf, so the gifts are also are much more, would be similar to that role. The government used yellow scarves in place of the normal white. So the government used a different color called as normal white color. The Dalai Lama, if he desired to show the very highest honor to a person, would place a kata about a person's neck and would tie a red silk thread with a triple knot into the kata. So if Dalai Lama wants to appreciate someone for his noble work, then he would put a scarf on the person, and he would tie three knots with a red silk thread with a triple knot. Okay. If at the same time he showed his hands palm up, when one was indeed honored, it shows like more respect. When it's Dalai Lama, after doing that thing, the scarf thing, if he shows his palms up, it's more honored. We Tibetans are of the firm belief that one's whole history is written on the palm of the hand. So everything is written in our palms. That is what we in Tibet we believe. And the Dalai Lama showing his hands thus would prove the friendliest intention towards one. So he's telling, so this is the friendliest thing if he has done this palms up. In later years, I had this honor twice. So he's telling the Lobsang Rampa is telling after, later years means in upcoming years. The book you would notice that he has got twice this kind of honor from Dalai Lama. Our steward stood at the entrance with an assistant on each side. He would go to new arrivals, accept their kata, and pass it on to the assistant on the left. At the same time, the assistant on his right would hand him the correct grade of scarf with which to return the salutation. This he would take and place across the wrist or over the neck according to the rank of the guest. All these scarves were used and reused. So like, it's not like if we use this scarf once, we should not reuse. It's not that, like, they would use and reuse the same scarf. That is kind of a salutation. They would give this respect to the guests which are coming in. So about this scarf we have seen. The stewards and his assistants were becoming busy. Guests were arriving in large numbers from neighboring estates, from Lhasa city, and from outlying districts. They all came clattering along the Linkor road. Clattering means with a loud sound. Along with the Linkor road to turn into a private drive in the shadow of the Potala. So he's telling, like, now the steward and their assistants are very busy greeting so many guests, because the guests keep coming in a large number. And they are coming from this, from the where is that, like from the Linkor road, from the main road, they are entering to the private drive. Means inside there, to their home, they will have a private, means for their own driveway. So they are coming into the drive. So ladies who had ridden a long distance wore a leather face mask to protect the skin and complexion from the grit-laden wind. So ladies used to wear some kind of a mask for their face, it seems, so to protect from this harsh wind, which is in the air. Oh, sorry, which is when they're traveling on them. So all used to travel on the ponies only, right? So that's the reason. Frequently, a crude resemblance of the wearer's features would be painted on the mask. Some kind of like the resemblance means some similarly of the woman who is wearing, they would paint it. It seems their mask would be painted accordingly. Arrived at her destination, the lady would doff her mask as well as her yak hide cloak. So she will remove her mask and a cloak where, yak hide cloak. I was always fascinated by the features painted on the mask. So this is how the painting on the mask was there. It's interesting. The uglier or older the woman, the more beautiful and younger would be her mask features. So it's like kind of opposite. Like if the woman is older, or if she's not looking so pretty, so their mask would be featured as like painted with more beautiful and younger look, it seems. Okay, in the house, there was great activity. More and more seat cushions were brought from the storerooms. We do not use chairs in Tibet, but sit cross-legged on cushions, which are about 2.5 feet square, about 9 inches thick. So they never use so that time they do not sit on chairs. They used to sit on cushions, cushions with cushions means with I think you all know cushions or sofa kind of like there you have that cushions, right? The same cushions are used for sleeping upon, but then several are put together. To us, they are far more comfortable than chairs or high beds. Okay. Arriving guests were given butter tea. So if the guests come, they would give the tea and led to a large room which had been converted into a refectory. So there was a large room and it is converted to a refectory, means like a dining room. Here they were able to choose refreshments. Refreshments means like some kind of juice or something to sustain them until the real party started. About 40 women of the leading families had arrived together with their women attendants. Some of the ladies were being entertained by mother. Means some of the ladies means like because her mom, she's only one, so she can't go and talk with everyone at the same time, right? So she will go and speak to some group of people one time and then she keeps moving so that she can speak to everyone. Some of the ladies were being entertained by mother and while others wandered around the house, inspecting the furnishings and guessing their value. So few people, my mother used to talk with them, and few others, they would go around the house and thinking like, okay, what this furniture cost would be and guessing how much it be. The place seemed to be overrun with women of all shapes, sizes, and ages. So he's telling like so different people, all the women, there were different women, all different shapes, sizes, and ages, means different kind of figures and the body personalities, they were there, and different age group. It's not only a young adult, like everyone were included, all kind of women with different ages. They appeared from the most unusual places and did not hesitate one moment to ask passing servers what this cost or what that was worth. So they're telling like these women, they never even hesitated to at least ask, okay, they would just ask like, okay, how much is it? How much is that? This furniture, that furniture. So they never even hesitated to ask that. That's what he's saying. They behaved in short like women the world over. Sister Esho was parading around in very new clothes. Means her sister, his sister was showing around in a new clothes, wearing new clothes with her hair done in what she regarded as the latest style, but which to me seemed terrible. Okay, so she is thinking that it is a latest style where she got braided her hair and style, but I did not like it. But I was always biased when it came to women. Certain it was that on this day they seemed to get in the way. So because this is some kind of a big thing, so women are supposed to come in their best attire, and this is what women are. That's what he's saying. Okay, masters, I think it's already 8:55. So I think sorry, it's uh, 5 minutes to 9 here. So let me end the session here. I mean, stop the share, and we can see if you have any kind of questions or queries or your feedback. Okay. Yeah. Open for the discussion, masters. You can raise your hands or like if you have any kind of questions or feedback. I think this session, we still do not know what his future would be, isn't it, Master? So I'm also very excited to know what he is going to become. Oh, so, but Lobsang Rampa wanted to become a kite flyer. He's thinking like that is what he want to be. But let's see what is going to happen. But as of now, it's we all seeing like what is happening for this kind of position, what is happening. So we're all feeling that kind of enthusiasm. We are vision, we are thinking about like, okay, this is happening. So it's so nice to visualize all this thing. So let me know if you have any questions. um, So if so, one question. Okay, so did Lobsang Rampa like his sister Yasho's hairstyle or not? What is your
Madam, can I answer it?
yes? Yes, Joshua. Yeah, go ahead.
No. He thought it was
Yeah.
ugly.
Yes. Good. And one more thing. So did during those Tibet time in 100 years back, were they using chairs or were they using cushions to sit? What were they using? I see Mukund's hand raised. Mukund?
They were using cushions, but in festivals they were using double cushions, so it's just more comfort.
Okay, good. And anyone would want to summarize what they have learned? What has happened in this class? Do anyone want to talk about it?
One more.
Who is talking?
Yeah, I think it's Mukund. Yeah, go ahead, Mukund.
One more thing. I think the session was very good, and I've attended yesterday's class too, but I'm still waiting. What is Lobsang Rampa's future? And I'm at the next session. Hopefully, they'll tell.
Yes,
Wow. Actually, Mukund, I'm so excited because that Miniar Dondap, who is his teacher, he's going to come very soon, and I'm really so excited.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've read this book like 3 times, but yet when Lavanya madam is telling this story, I just can't stop my excitement. It's like a bedtime story for me. So thankful to you, Lavanya. It's so nice way of explaining this. I don't know about children. I'm really enjoying it. Thank you, Amma.
What do you mean?
Thank you, ma'am. I am actually really enjoying I'm visualizing I am into this story actually. Yeah, I'm sitting and listening to myself also.
I hope all children are enjoying, and it's nice to have this interaction at the end of the session, and great. And the best part is it's being hosted by children, technical supported by children. I love it. See, children, this is how I always wanted this platform to be. You don't need really anybody to hold your finger and take you forward. You're all great masters. And to give you that bit of a push, Lavanya madam took this initiative with the story reading. So take this as an initiative, and I'll be really waiting for children to step up on this platform and follow Lavanya madam. Lavanya madam, we are really so thankful to you for giving this kickstart on this book club.
Thank you, Sarojama, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I see like the kids are really enjoying because from yesterday, because of this festival mood, it seems, I think it's they're very limited kids, but previous classes for the 3 classes, they were really asking so many, like I was asking so many questions and they were answering and they were having so many questions. So it was nice, ma'am. So I liked it.
Yeah, every chapter is exciting, Lavanya, even though I know what's coming next, but I still can't wait. And every day when I put these sessions on the YouTube so that the US zone people can also access to that, because there's so many children from the US zone who came forward and said, we are not able to attend the session. Can we get the recording? And of course, Gangadhar sir has been passing all the recordings to me, and you children, we have started this series, the playlist on this YouTube called the Book Club, the Third Eye series by Lobsang Rampa. So anyone wants to listen to Lavanya madam again, feel free to go in the playlist and do it. Yeah. Very, very thankful to everyone here for starting this amazing book, amazing book. Yep. Thank you everyone. And thanks to Joshua and all her friends who are there supporting her technically, and Mukund for being such a good sport, and Riddhi, Ryan, Jaya madam was there a while ago, Mrinali, absolutely everyone. Your energies mean a lot on this platform. So yeah, keep going, children. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, masters. So we will meet again tomorrow at the same time. So we'll see what Lobsang Rampa, his future is going to be. So please do come and join, and let's see in the next session what it is. Okay, till then, take care and enjoy your rest of the day.
Bye, madam.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, Joshua.